Hey, what's up guys? Thanks for dropping by the channel. So for this video, I'm going to give you an in-depth review and really my first experience with the micro brand Armida. Now I think they're well known in the watch community and they typically put out really robust dive watches, but this is my first experience with them doing more of a homage style watch. The dial layout for this particular piece, the Armida A6, is clearly a homage to a Rolex Explorer with the tri-Arabics on the dial, the 3, 6, and 9, and then the triangle there at the 12. Now it's interesting because I think while the dial does scream Rolex Explorer, the cased dimensions and overall construction to me resembles more a Rolex Milgauss, and I'll give you the reasons why in just a minute. Now I did want to mention that this Armida A6 is the 40mm version and it's been discontinued, but it comes in this really nice dry tube here. But Armida does currently sell a 36mm variant of this same watch, and I believe that's priced around $449 US, and this one, while it was available, was priced closer to $500. And just one quick other bonus you get with this watch is they also provide a really nice Italian rubber strap that's got a very subtle but pleasing vanilla scent to it. Okay, let's quickly talk about the case specs and design. Now it does say on the website that it is a 40mm case, but when I measure it across the case with my calipers, it's really 40.9, almost 41 mils. Now flipping to the side, lug to lug between my thumbs here, it's 50 millimeters. Case thickness is 14 millimeters, but a lot of that height comes from this beautiful box sapphire crystal. And it's a flat sapphire crystal with anti-reflective application on it. And interestingly, if you look at the lug gap here for this bracelet, it's actually 22 millimeters instead of your more traditional 20, but the bracelet tapers down to about 18 near the clasp. Okay, let's move in on the dial, and you can see where it picks up the Rolex Explorer design cues. As I did mention, tri-Arabics printed on the dial. You have nice batons for the other hour markings. You have that gilt printing on the dial, Armida automatic near the 12, and then closer to the 6, it does say it has a surprising 300 meter water resistance rating, and it's also anti-magnetic. In addition, you also have the gilt style Rolex Explorer hand stack, where you have the Mercedes hour hand, and then a nice elongated sword minute hand there. And I do enjoy that the seconds hand reaches all the way to the periphery of a dial, and it does have a nice loomed lollipop there, just so you can get clear orientation and a quick read of time in low light situations. Now speaking of low light, this watch has some very impressive C3 Swiss Superluminova applied to the printed hour markings and the hand stack, and I will show you a low light shot right now, just so you can see how well this lume is applied to the watch. It's extremely even over all the hour markings, and very nicely applied to the hand stack as well. The lume is quite intense, and the duration that it lasts is also very long. So props to Armida for not skipping out on the lume. Overall, this watch is extremely legible. Now, if we investigate the case a little bit more, I think you can kind of see where I suggest that it's more of a Rolex Milgauss style. Just look at the high polish on the side and the sweep of the side of the case here. And whilst this doesn't have a soft iron cage cased in the movement, the construction of this watch affords it the same level of anti-magnetism as the Rolex Milgauss, which you'll see when I flip it over and show you the case back. I also think that box sapphire crystal does mimic that of the Milgauss, although, you know, when you look at those Rolexes, they usually have like a green or an orange tint to them. But this one, the sapphire crystal is extremely thick, helping it maintain that 300 meter water resistance rating. Now powering this watch is the Swiss ETA 2824-2 automatic movement that has about a 38-hour power reserve, beats away at 4 Hertz or 28,800 vibrations per hour, 25 joules. It's hacking, and you can manually wind the watch as well. So if I unscrew this oversized screw-down crown, very nice pop by the way. If you pull it all the way out, Notice that I can hack the movement, and then you can quickly set your time however you like. I also just want to show you, just look at the rubber gaskets on the crown. I mean, it's amazing how robust they made not only the case, but the crown tube as well. No play there. Very nice rubber O-rings. And rethreading is extremely easy to do because the crown is very well knurled. You can see that the crown also has the printed Armida logo, and there's drilled lug apertures here, which is a nice touch if you do want to swap this out for a rubber strap or a leather option. Nice brushing on the tops as well for the bezel and the hoods of the lugs. And then the bracelet is very solidly constructed. It's more of an oyster style bracelet with high polish on the flanks. And each link is very securely fastened with double-sided slot screws. So there's a screw head here, and if I flip it over, there's a screw head on the other side as well. The clasp, I would say, is probably the weakest point of the watch. You do have the Armida printed here at the clasp. It's just a simple fold over with security here. It does offer 4 layers of micro adjustment, but opening up this clasp is extremely cumbersome. Now you do have a nicely milled out swing arm, but this portion here just feels like very thinly stamped out metal. And again, very hard to open, and this can also kind of dig into your wrist on a hot day. Now, flipping it over, you can see that there are solid end links to the bracelet. With the case back, you have the Armida logo in the center. It does have 70,000 AMs of anti-magnetism. Again, similar to a Rolex Milgauss here, so very anti-magnetic. 316L stainless steel construction throughout. And note that the caseback is screwed in, again helping with that high 300 meter depth rating for water resistance. Here's a quick wrist shot of the Armida A6 on my 19 centimeter circumference wrist, or about 7.5 inches. And I think it actually wears quite nice. Now there is a bit of height to it and a bit of wrist presence with those 22 millimeter lug spacing. But overall, as far as Rolex homages go, this is one of the best constructed and most robust homage watches I've seen for the price point. Okay, so before I wrap up the video, are there any negative aspects you guys should be aware of? Well, it's really actually hard to fault this watch on many levels. I mean, some people don't like homage timepieces in general, but this watch is executed to a very high level. But as far as negative aspects, I do wish that they went with a 20 millimeter lug spacing here instead of having the broader 22. And I'd say the biggest negative is just this pressed metal clasp. I don't find it overly comfortable on a hot day, and it is kind of hard to open it up. But the bracelet is extremely well made, and there's not much else I can really fault this watch for. So guys, overall, I'm quite impressed with this Armida A6. For the price, I'm impressed with all the features you get. I mean, very nice boxed sapphire crystal, extremely well constructed case and crown, very legible and great C3 Superluminova. I mean, getting the ETA 2824 at this price point is really nice. They didn't go with a High Beat Miyota or the Sellita variant. And I'd say anecdotally, this watch is picking up about +8 seconds a day, which, I mean, again, in this price tier is more than acceptable. But guys, please let me know what you guys think of this watch in the comments below. What's your favorite Rolex Explorer type homage watch? And would you consider picking one of these up in the future? I'd love to see your guys' feedback, and as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.